I uploaded this video to YouTube 3 weeks ago, and then I found out that it contained two factual errors. I didn't like it that way, so I corrected the mistakes and published it again. I'm telling you this in case you've already seen it, but if you haven't done so yet, you might want to view it without the mistakes. So here it is. Hello, my name is Robert Berrio. Welcome to my electric bike channel. Today I'm taking you for an electric bike ride through some of the tourist sites and some of the winding streets of Lisbon, Portugal. This video doesn't purport to be representative of the city of Lisbon. It just happens to show some of the areas I decided to visit on the 2 days that I rented an electric bike. This is the bike I rented, a Giant equipped with front suspension and large tires, which are essential for providing comfort in Lisbon's cobblestone streets and paths. It came with hydraulic brakes, mid-drive Yamaha sync drive motor, a battery that's integrated into the frame, a large display, and a 9-gear rear derailleur. This map shows the Iberian Peninsula and Lisbon, and the path that I followed the first day. The bicycle store is near Praça do Comércio. The guy on the bike is yours truly. The bike had a handlebar basket which was handy for holding my backpack. This is a well-marked bicycle trail. That building to the left with the dome is the National Pantheon, a marvelous sight not to be missed if you're visiting Lisbon. Lisbon is the entry point for most of the country's shipping. Here we see tanker rail cars next to the port. Here we're riding along a container loading area. To our left, we see a large structure that looks like somebody's idea of modern art and a children's playground. The bike rider here is me. To my right, I see a passenger ship at the dock. To the right, we see the Place of Nations Marina. The Place of Nations is the site where the 1998 World Exposition took place. It is now a large park where Lisbonites and tourists as well can go for relaxing walks. Build it and they will come. Same goes for a dock or a pier. Build one and somebody will come fishing. This is where large tires and suspension are nice to have. We're approaching the oceanarium. This is a must if you enjoy the sea or deep sea diving or nature or fish or penguins. It's the world's second largest aquarium. People simply enjoying a stroll on the boardwalk above the water. This is the main part of the Place of Nations. Vasco da Gama shopping center and train station. There's also a subway station here, which makes the expo site easy to reach from anywhere in Lisbon. We're now riding towards the Vasco da Gama Tower, which was also built for the Expo 98 World Fair. Attached to the tower is the Myriad Hotel, one of the few skyscrapers in Lisbon. Time for a break. Nothing like a nice cappuccino. Here I'm riding by the Oceanarium to the left. Now we're approaching Niagara Falls, and everybody wants to walk underneath them. This is the last part of my upriver ride. Next, after passing these falls, I'll take you on my downriver ride, which I've accomplished on my second day. Starting from the Centro Comercio, we head towards Belém, marked by the red teardrop on the map, while staying on bicycle paths as much as possible. Above us is the 25th of April bridge leading to Almada on the other side. It is the only one of two bridges to get across the Tagus in Lisbon. It's a double-decker suspension bridge with a double train track on the lower level. The name 25th of April commemorates the Carnation Revolution, a bloodless coup which took place in 1974 that brought freedom to Portugal. To the right is the Museum of Art, Architecture and Technology, a rather elegant building. Although it's cloudy, wind conditions are perfect for sailing from what I can see on the water today. Ahead is the Monument of Discoveries, which commemorates the days when Portugal was a major naval power, which gave rise to great navigators like Vasco da Gama, the first European to reach India by sea. This is the Belém Tower, built in the early 16th century to be part of a defense system at the mouth of the Tagus River. Now, as promised, I'm going to take you with me through some of the winding, hilly streets of Lisbon. In front of us is the National Pantheon, which I've mentioned before. Unbeknownst to me, I'm innocently riding against a one-way. To the left is the wall of a huge church. São Vicente de Fora Church. Streetcars, called trams in Lisbon, form an important means of public transport, especially good for the tourist trade. These ancient streetcars rattle and squeak their way through the winding streets. Notice that in Lisbon, the buildings border on the sidewalks and are all adjoining. You'll also note that they're never more than 5 stories high. That is because they were built before the age of electricity and had no elevators. Like other old European cities, the houses were close together to reduce the distances people had to walk. One of the things I hadn't seen on my organized tour of Lisbon 2 years ago was how poorly maintained are the buildings and the profusion of graffiti. The tour organizers were very careful to take us only to the prettiest parts of the city. One of the challenges when riding a bicycle in Lisbon is to avoid getting your wheels caught in the streetcar tracks, so it's an advantage to have wide tires. Notice the tuk-tuks on the right, a very popular method for tourists to visit the city. Here we're at the Portal do Sol lookout. There are a lot of beautiful squares and lookouts that afford stunning views over the city. Because the streets are so narrow, often the streetcar's path is blocked by a car dropping off a passenger or a truck unloading merchandise or for a number of reasons. Then the driver rings a loud bell. It's not a ding-dong or a clang-clang, but a loud and prolonged dring, dring, and then he keeps on sounding his bell until the guilty party clears the way. Some streets are so narrow that they don't even have sidewalks. In fact, some of them are so narrow that you could touch the buildings on either side just by stretching your hands out. We're back at Praça do Comércio. horse is King Jose I, who kicked out the Spaniards and the French with the help of Britain during the Franco-Spanish invasion of 1762. I wasn't able to take you to the steepest and most narrow streets of Lisbon, but before we take the bicycle back to the shop, let me show you a few clips of some of the most spectacular views I was able to capture during my stay in Lisbon. So that's the end of my electric bicycle ride in Lisbon, and now it's time to take the bike back to the rental store. Now we'll go under the Augusta Street Arch. Now we'll go down Augusta Street. Now a street that's very popular with tourists. And now we'll turn towards Bike Iberia to return the bike. And here we are. I hope you've enjoyed this e-bike ride in Lisbon, and if you would like to see more videos involving electric bikes, please subscribe to my channel. Likewise, if you'd like information about my books.